Hi, everyone. My name is Madeline Sprick, and I have the opportunity to present Danny Davis today, who's going to be speaking us today about Cuurio. Danny served on the executive team at Lake Point Church in Rockwell, Texas for 31 years. 4 years ago, he created Cuurio Local to help reach the gospel through people who are searching for online. By January 2021, Danny and his wife Suzanne left the executive staff at Lake Point Church to run Cuurio full time. They now have a writing team of 15 people, a global prayer team, an advisory council of 12, and a volunteer staff. Over the past 30 days, Cuurio has had the opportunity to present the gospel to over 96,000 people. Today, Danny's going to be telling us about Cuurio Local and how it'll increase a local church's opportunity to present the gospel. I'll go ahead and pass it along to Danny. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Danny here with Cuurio again. We talked last time about why does it matter to think about search? How is it relevant? And is it achievable? Just to recap, it is relevant because everybody is searching online, and it is achievable because other people do it, so you can too. And it's just a matter of doing it and following the path. Why? How does it happen? Google decides, or search engines with their algorithms decide who goes on the front page. We just have to think in those terms. Like I said at the end of the last one, whenever you do content, do it in terms of search. Think about search. And that's what we have to do, is start moving forward with search in mind. Okay, that's what we're doing today, but we're going to get a little more specific. We're going to talk about mechanics, okay? Mechanics of content marketing, because really that's what this is content marketing. You hear the phrase content is king, and it's like a cliche now, and people make memes about it and stuff, but it's true, because content is how Google is going to determine if you are an authority in your space or not. Okay, so how does that happen? What do I mean by that? Google has an algorithm, and that you hear that's a buzzword these days. Their algorithm tells them what's important. It goes and crawls everybody's website with a robot, and it reports back, and it says, these are the important things, and here are the important websites. And then Google serves those sites up as the answer for that particular question. So how do we make that work for us? Well, you have to, first of all, write, here are 3 things that your content needs to be, okay? First of all, it's got to be great. It's got to be high quality. It doesn't mean it has to be genius. It just has to be solid. It's got to be good. If you're trying to attract plumbing customers to you because you're a plumber, then write good stuff about plumbing that helps them. Okay, that's what I mean by great content. It's just got to be helpful and solid, and that puts you out there as that authority. Okay, it's also got to be fresh. Okay, Google does not like duplicate content. Don't go on somebody else's website and copy theirs and put it on yours and go, yay, I did content. You didn't. And Google won't be happy with that. You get no credit for it. The guy who did it first might, but you might have screwed it up for him too. But I don't know. That's like a secret thing about Google. They don't tell you all their secrets, but they do tell us they don't like duplicate content. So it needs to be fresh content as well as good. The other thing your content needs to be is consistent. If you get all fired up about this, so let's talk about Google for a second. They have these bots that crawl. They have a crawl budget allocated, and it costs them to crawl all the websites in the world. So they're obviously going to allocate their budget accordingly. So if they send a robot to your website and they crawl it and they find some fresh content, they go, great, cool, and they log it. And then they come back the next day and they crawl it again and they don't find anything. Well, then maybe they'll wait for a couple of days, and they come back and they crawl it again and they don't find anything. They may just kind of write you off because you're not consistently putting content, and they equate consistent quality, fresh content with authority. you're an authority in your space, well, then you should be helping people with that authority, with all the stuff you know. If you're so smart, then why aren't you telling people about it and helping them? That's kind of the that's kind of the mindset there. So you need to be consistent with your content. Here's something we got to look out for, though. If you get all fired up about content marketing and you're going to do it, and whether you're a church that's going to write content about felt needs because people are searching stuff like, is there any hope for me? Or why am I sad all the time? Or something like that. If you're going to go in that direction and you get all fired up about it, or if you're a plumber, if you're a HVAC or whatever your business is, if you decide you're going to jump into this and you're going to kill it. And I've seen this happen. And people would say, we're going to write an article every day, 1,000 words every day, 2,000 words, and we're going to do all this and we're going to kill it. And then you get going, and then you realize you also have a business to run, or you also have a church to operate, and you have a job description, and you can't do this every day. And so then you do it for a while and then you fizzle. That's worse than doing it less often to begin with. To figure out what's sustainable, what can you do and on a regular basis and not just kill yourself. What can you do that's going to be doable and that's going to be repeatable and sustainable? Do that from the beginning. And that's how you be consistent with this, because you can very easily bite off too much, more than you can chew, because this is new ground for a lot of people. You don't necessarily, that's probably why you're watching this. You don't do content marketing on a regular basis, but you can do it. It just needs to be great, and it needs to be fresh, and needs to be consistent. Once a week, that's fine. Once a month is not very often, but it's better than none. Okay. So let's talk about a little bit about what is it that Google uses to decide that your content is good. Well, obviously it's a bot. It's not people. They're not reading your article going, I give them a B minus. This is a bot. So they have certain things that they have to go off of in order to tell what your article is about, even what your content is about and your website is about. If you don't tell them, they don't know. So for instance, I've had people say, nobody's finding my blog. I don't know. I'm writing it, but no, I don't ever get any traffic and nobody ever even sees it. So I look at it, and the title, he showed me this one. He said, see, here's one of my posts. The title of this post was blog post number 17. Okay, who's going to search that? No, I have no idea what your blog is about. How's anybody going to know? Guess what? Google's not magic. They need to be told what your content is about also, especially their bots, because their bot is literally just looking at what's on the page. And if it's not on the page, they don't know about it. So titles are extremely important. What your main title is, that's called an H1 tag in HTML talk. And whatever is your H1 tag, Google automatically thinks that's the most important thing. Oh, that must be what this piece of content is about. So that's what I'm going to decide that this is about. Well, if it's about blog post number 17, guess what? Nobody's searching that. So you just threw it out there for nothing. That is very important. Another important piece is the headings. Google likes for it to be user friendly. So they want it to be broken up with, like subtitles. And your headings also are important, because Google their little bots, they look in there and they go, okay, here's the title. That's the most important thing. Well, here's a subtitle. So that's also in here too. Not as important as this title, but it's down here and it is important. And so your headings are also important. If you just put a whole bunch of text in a row and never break it, no paragraphs, just 1,000, 2,000 word content with nothing but a title, then it's not going to do well, because that is not good for the reader. So really, you're writing for two people. You're writing for the reader and you're writing for Google. And it is doable. You just have to approach it that way. Okay, let's talk about other stuff. Images. Images are worth a lot. Google likes images, so add them in there. Add video in there. Google loves video. A lot of feels like if you're putting out good videos, and to be honest, it doesn't have to be a produced video. In fact, people like just real things, like you shoot on your phone. I consult with people, and I tell them a lot of times, look, if you're better at talking than you are at writing, and that's 90% of everybody, just set your phone up, turn it sideways. And you don't have to do that anymore, but turn it sideways, turn on your phone, turn on video, and just talk away about whatever it is you want to talk. Then post that video and maybe even get somebody to transcribe it, type it out, turn it in paragraph form, get you a good title, give you good headings, and that's valuable stuff. And that's a great approach to content. So here's a little tip, really about any asset, images, videos, PDFs, anything that you're going to post. Give it a good name. Give it a name that somebody would search. Don't call it, it's the same concept. Don't call it PDF number 2. Call it best plumber in Dallas. So give it a name that somebody might search, because believe it or not, people do searches and they go and look at images, and they might see your image because you gave it a good name of something that they actually typed in, and then they click on it and they find you. Okay, that's legit. And to even take that one step further, when you name assets like that, don't separate the words with underscores. Okay, the internet, Google, sees underscores as another character, and it makes your words mean nothing. But separate each word with a dash, and that's interpreted as a space. And so anytime you name an asset, like if you're going to upload a picture, give it a name and put the dashes in between the words, make it a search term, upload it, and that's another opportunity to be found. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's not at all comprehensive, not even close. But if you just start thinking about doing some content that's really good, and it's really fresh, it's never copied, and it's consistent, and then you consider good titles, make a great title, not just a great title for what is in your content, but something that somebody would search. Because, and I'm going to illustrate that in our next video. The next video will have some specific things, and I'm going to even show you some examples. So that'll be helpful. But just get your head around, I need to do content, and I'm going to do great content. I'm going to make it fresh, and I'm going to make it consistent, and I'm going to give it good titles that people are searching, and I'm going to give it good headings that people are searching, and I'm going to add videos, and I'm going to add images. It's not as hard as it sounds. It is at the beginning sometimes, but you get in a groove just like anything else. Okay, so next time we're going to talk about fishing. Okay, just so you know, that'll be different. Okay, so anyway, thank you for being here, and come back next time and we'll have fun. All right.
Thank you so much for that, Danny. And thank you guys so much for being able to watch the Cuurio Local video today. If you'd like to learn more about Cuurio Local, you may email Danny at danny@cuurio.com, or follow the Refinement LinkedIn page, where we'll be doing more Cuurio videos, so you may learn more about how to optimize your outreach. Thank you, guys.